Hey yo, what is up guys? Your boy's back with my Survivor Series 2002 review, and yeah, let's get right into it. So the show opened with 3 Minute Warning versus Jeff Hardy, Spike Dudley, and Bubba Dudley in a tables match. Now I have to say this match was definitely early 2000s vibes. The way everyone was dressed and the crowd was just electric for this. And Jeff Hardy, just such a product of the late 90s, early 2000s. Just the way he dresses, from like the way he dyes his hair and stuff. And I can see why he just totally took off and caught the hearts of so many people and was such a popular character and wrestler. He had an awesome moment in this match where he hit the swanton off. I don't even know how you describe this, through like the walkway. He's at the top of it, and he jumped off of it. And yeah, so he hit the swanton. That was a really, really risky spot. He was just massively over in this match. Bubba Ray also massively over in this match. Not like massively over, but like, yeah, he clearly had his fans there. And yeah, 3 Minute Warning. This is really interesting because I never actually got to talk about these guys. I believe they're around in the early 2000s, and one guy, I think Jamal is Umaga, and then Rosie, I can't remember, is Rosie actually related? He's related to Roman Reigns, I want to say. Like, not like, I want to say he's like Roman Reigns' brother, is how I really want to put that. I'm pretty sure he is. So, yeah, this was a really, really good match, a really fun tables match. I got kind of confused with how they were doing it. I was like, oh, is it just one person gets eliminated? So the way they did the match was one person gets eliminated each time they get put through a table. So you get to watch a whole bunch of people get put through a table. And the ending was really cool because Devon and Bubba got to reunite, because I believe they were on separate brands at this point, which is kind of interesting. And you got to see them hit the 3D on, I believe Rico was at the end there. And yeah, this match, it was really, really good. Spike Dudley went out early. Really small guy, but you know, he got some TV time there in the early 2000s. And yeah, you know what? He was kind of popular back then, and he's still remembered to this day just for being a part of the Dudley Boys. So really interesting there. So yeah, really good match here we had to start off the show. Very 2000s match here. Next up, we had, the Cruiserweight title match. So this is kind of interesting because it's like, I've heard a lot about the Cruiserweights from the early 2000s. I know Rey Mysterio was at one point Cruiserweight champion. So this is like, I don't really watch. I watch very certain years with wrestling, or I get like into really certain years. As you'll know, I talk more about that towards the end of the video here. And yeah, 2002 to like 2000, like I watched stuff from there, but I only watched like the really popular stuff. So like watching the cruiserweights like this, like watching just mid-card guys, is really interesting to see. So I'd like to actually check out more matches from the early 2000s, because this was a really, really good match here. Billy Kidman and Jamie Noble. Jamie Noble, it's kind of interesting because he was part of J&J Security. I believe he was part of something in 2006. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I remember him, but like I know he was part of the J&J Security for Seth Rollins, and that's kind of what I know him for. And Billy Kidman here, and now Billy Kidman was a part of WCW, I believe. So yeah, kind of interesting to see this match here. It was a really, really fun, entertaining match. The shooting star press that Billy Kidman hit was just an amazing. It looked really, really pretty. He hit this awesome dive to the outside too, where he jumped from the turnbuckle and cross-bodied him, I think it was. And yeah, what's her name? Nydia. She also got involved in the match. Now Nydia and Jamie Noble, from what I can tell, they were playing some trailer trash type characters here. So it was kind of interesting to see that. So like, yeah, they said after they won the match they were gonna get a double wide trailer. So yeah, really, really good match here. I quite liked it. Again, another just really, really solid undercard match. Really cool because you know, this is back during the day when like only the smaller guys did the dives out of the ring, or they did all the stuff off the top rope. Nowadays, it's like all the way up to the main eventers that do it. So it's kind of like, this match definitely had all the matches had a much more, each match always had appeal, and sometimes in the WWE today, it's like, oh, everyone does dives. So it's like, if everyone's doing dives, then who's the cruiserweight and who's the high flyers? If everyone's being a high flyer, you know, so that's kind of what I'd say kind of kills a lot of the high flyer and a lot of the styles of wrestling, when everyone's trying to do the same style. So back then, they stuck to their guns. You know what I'm saying? Next up, this match had a really, really cool promo for it. Victoria versus Trish Stratus here for the women's title. Trish Stratus, you know, she's my girl, Canadian, homegrown, Gotta love it, obviously. And yeah, so a really good match here. This had a wicked promo to it where Victoria was having like some psycho crazy phase about how crazy girl phase and how Trish got to be the model and she got picked to be in WWE first. And it really, was a really good storyline because you could just tell it had a lot of beef between them, and it was obviously a chick feud, so it had some really good stuff here. Now Trish Stratus, you gotta give this chick some credit. Like her moves were over. Like I remember like the chick kicks over the Stratus faction. She worked her ass off in this match, and they kicked the shit out of each other. They were sending each other into freaking garbage cans and all kinds of moves and stuff. Victoria got her nose busted open, and that looked pretty brutal. And surprisingly enough, Victoria went over, and she won the women's title. So shout out to Victoria. So I didn't know much about. Again, another girl I didn't really know much about. I haven't seen a lot of her. I knew about her, but I haven't seen a lot of her work. So this here was really good. Obviously, I'm a Trish Stratus fan. I've seen a lot of her matches. She's actually a part of my favorite women's match ever in Unforgiven 2006, her final match before she really hung it up for her full-time role. So that's actually my favorite women's match ever. So yeah, good match here, good hardcore match. Like this is a lot more brutal than a lot of the matches they have nowadays. Like you think like, oh, back in the day they didn't have matches like this, but then you watch it and you're like, damn, they did have matches like this. Holy shit, I wasn't used to that. Next up, we got a very famous match. This is one of the first matches I've seen from this show, so I was very, very familiar with this one. Was Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show. Now, this might be one of the best matches under 10 minutes. Brock Lesnar has been a part of a lot of those. So, yeah, this match here really just surrounded around Brock not being able to pick Big Show up for a suplex. It was really well built. Sorry. And yeah, the Big Show, he ended up getting him up for the F5, which I have to say, when I was watching that, like the first time I watched that when I was 13, I was like, damn, son, he got him up for that. And yeah, and it has the epic Paul Heyman turn where he helps the Big Show get the victory, and Big Show hits the choke slam on him. So yeah, this is a really, really memorable match. It's kind of like, in a way, the Hogan-Andre of a generation in the way, because it's like the way, like, oh, can Hogan get him up for the slam? Can Brock get him up for a suplex? And yeah, this match, it very, very much resembled early days of the Hulk Hogan-Andre match. So yeah, kind of cool, and it was really sick when he did get him up for the suplexes in the F5. So moving on to a really, really good match here, which is, again, involving the SmackDown 6. Eddie Guerrero, Los Guerreros, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, and versus Edge and Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. So Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle were in the middle of a feud at the time. I believe this whole thing kind of culminated in their match at the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about that next month, leading up to Royal Rumble 2023, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, this was obviously playing into that feud, which was really interesting, and how they couldn't really trust each other. And yeah, so I believe they got eliminated first, and then it came down to Edge and Rey Mysterio and Los Guerreros. And they, had a really, really good back and forth with submissions. I believe at one point, Edge was caught in a double submission. Yeah, Edge was caught in a double submission by Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. And it's like, oh, is he going to tap out? No one really knew. And then Rey Mysterio, he broke it up. Rey Mysterio, he was all over this match, man. I think he was probably in it for pretty much the entire time, it felt like. I'm really sorry. I'm still getting over a cold here. And yeah, this match, it was really, really good. It just peak stuff from the SmackDown 6 days. So obviously a lot of this stuff is memorable and worth checking out. And the crowd here was awesome. I forgot to mention that this is the same show where Scott Steiner debuted in WWE, and he's like, "Get me the effing microphone," and that's kind of like that whole famous promo with Matt Hardy and stuff. So in his whole debut, so it's just really famous just for that one line alone. Really hilarious. So main event time, and I was really, really looking forward to this. I couldn't really spoil my thoughts on this match while I was doing the War Games review. So yeah. The first ever Elimination Chamber. And now they wanted to do a War Games match, but instead Vince came up with the War Games idea. We got War Games on this show, and Chris Jericho, when he comes out to he had the same countdown, but always by Saliva was playing, and that was really cool. Like really, really cool, really good song. It's my type of music, so people should really check that out. And yeah, so their entrances were all really cool. Everyone's just such a star, and everyone's just built. They look like stars, they act like stars, and it's something I really miss about like wrestling today, where it's not everyone's as over as they were back then. Like everyone's over in this match. Yeah, the match starts off, Triple H and RVD, they get right into it using the cage and stuff, and it is just brutal. Like watching the old Elimination Chamber where they're just slamming each other, and you can just feel it. You're just watching them go into the cage and the chains and the floor, and this whole like first 5 minutes really just shows what that's all about. And then next up, Chris Jericho comes in, and Triple H and Chris Jericho, they work together throughout this match, which is interesting because they did feud earlier in 2002 over the World Championship. Now here they are working together again while Triple H is defending the World Championship. And then Booker T, he gets in this, and obviously you know him, he got hit the spinner Rooney. I believe he eliminated Rob Van Dam after Rob Van Dam crushed Triple H's neck, which was just like, knowing how bad Triple H was injured from that. Every time I watch that, I'm just like, oh, every time. It's just such a brutal, like that must have fucking hurt. And yeah, Kane comes in, destroys everybody, and then finally, lastly, Shawn Michaels gets involved. And yeah, once Shawn Michaels got in, the whole feud was about Shawn not letting Triple H leave the Elimination Chamber as world champion. Naturally, it comes down to those two, and it's just a great emotional last couple minutes of the match between Shawn and Triple H. And they kind of had like the playoff of the SummerSlam match where Shawn goes for the roll-up, and then Triple H hits the pedigree, and then you think that's it, and then Shawn manages to get back up, and he hits the super kick, pinning Triple H, who started the match. They were both just bloody messes. Like everyone just looked like they went through such a war out there. And sorry, this is one of the best WWE matches I've ever seen. So obviously, like as I always say, like my star ratings and stuff are in the description below. You would already know by what I rate the match and how much I love this match. I call it a 5-star match. It's easily a 5-star match, just from how memorable it is, all the way up to the final moment. The emotion of it, the confetti falling down at the end is just such a beautiful moment. The last couple minutes between Triple H and Shawn Michaels, the monster spot by Kane, Booker T, Chris Jericho, and RVD all being great throughout the match. This is just, everything about this match is just super great and super memorable. And I absolutely love this match, so I have to rate it 5 stars. I don't know how many matches on this channel I've rated 5 stars so far, but I think it's the Shawn Michaels Triple H match at SummerSlam, and then SummerSlam 2022 with Brock and Roman. But yeah, this is a great match. Obviously, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen it, so you don't really need me to really tell you to go watch it, because it is a very, very epic match, and I love it very much, beginning to end. So yeah, my next video, I wanted to do a Survivor Series 2012 review, but I kind of had trouble getting some of the matches, so we're just going to kind of compile that into the 10 Years of the Shield video. So that'll be my next kind of review, talking about the Shield and stuff. Yeah, so we'll be talking about that. I got a Sheamus video. I want to talk about him. And yeah, so stay tuned for those coming up. And yeah, peace out, guys.